Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Most AI engineers look at Morgan Stanley and think, oh, they just built a RAG chatbot, right? They see the shiny generative models and they stop there. But I'm going to tell you right now, that is the completely wrong takeaway. If we just look at this as a standard chatbot story, we're completely missing what actually happened.
So let's literally cross that idea out right now. No RAG chatbot. Instead, what we're looking at is an advisor productivity system. This isn't about some cool technical toy. It is fundamentally a workflow story. When a massive institution like Morgan Stanley adopts new tech, they aren't looking for parlor tricks. They're looking at their workforce and asking, how do we get rid of the roadblocks that are slowing our best people down?
And that brings us to the core line, the absolutely crucial point here. Morgan Stanley did not buy AI. They bought advisor productivity. At the end of the day, human engagement is what drives their growth. Clients aren't trusting an algorithm with their life savings, right? They trust humans. So the goal here wasn't to replace financial advisors. No way. The goal was to give them a massive, undeniable competitive advantage.
To really grasp this, we have to look at what a financial advisor actually does all day. Picture this. A client calls with a seemingly simple question, but to give a compliant, historically accurate answer, while the advisor can't just guess. They're instantly forced to search through research docs, compliance policies, market reports, and internal client history. So one single question instantly triggers a massive hunt across a ton of scattered internal sources.
And the scale of this bottleneck, it is staggering. We are talking about an expansive corpus of over 100,000 internal documents that advisors previously had to hunt through. Imagine trying to find one crucial paragraph buried in 100,000 dense, compliance-approved PDFs while an anxious client is literally waiting on the phone. It's an operational nightmare. It's the ultimate needle in a haystack.
So the real problem here isn't a lack of intelligence, and it isn't outdated basic tech. The real problem is fragmented knowledge. That fragmentation causes advisors to lose precious hours endlessly searching instead of, actually advising. And this heavily impacts the KPIs that actually matter: the time to answer a client, overall advisor productivity, and ultimately, client satisfaction.
This is exactly where we need to shift our mental model. An AI engineer looks at this and immediately asks, well, what model do we use? But a financial deployment engineer, or an FDE, asks totally different questions. An FDE asks, who are the actors, what systems are they trapped in, what is the core pain, and what KPI actually matters.
Let's map this out using that FDE lens. First, the actors. You've got the advisor, the client, the research team, and the compliance team. Next, the systems they navigate: CRMs, dense research repositories, and inflexible compliance systems. Then we have the pain, which is clearly knowledge retrieval. And finally, the KPI, time to answer. It isn't about token generation speed. It is strictly about how fast they can get the client an accurate answer. By framing it this way, we hit the real turning point of this explainer. The root cause is not missing AI. Actually, let me repeat that. The root cause is not missing AI. The root cause is fragmented information across systems. The friction is baked right into the human workflow itself. Until you fix that structural fragmentation, throwing a better language model at the problem just gives you faster access to the exact same chaotic mess. Once you understand that, the solution architecture becomes beautifully simple. You take the research documents, move to ingestion, embedding, retrieval, and finally, surface it all through an advisor assistant. It helps the advisor find grounded information way faster. And let's be super clear here. The goal is absolutely not replacement. The goal is advisor acceleration. It securely pulls authorized internal information right to their fingertips. Now, why does this system work so well? Well, it directly attacks that time to answer KPI. It drastically reduces manual search time. It completely grounds its answers in Morgan Stanley's internal data, which keeps the compliance folks perfectly happy. It fits naturally into the real everyday job to be done. And most importantly, it supports the human instead of trying to replace them.
And the proof is absolutely in the numbers. We're looking at over a 98% adoption rate. Think about that. 98% of advisor teams actively use this assistant daily. When you build a tool that seamlessly integrates into a worker's workflow and eliminates their most frustrating bottlenecks, well, you don't have to force them to use it. They adopt it eagerly because it gives them their time back.
So, here is the real lesson I want you to walk away with. AI is not the product. It is a layer inside a business operation. A true FDE starts with how the business works, not with LangGraph or RAG. It all starts with the workflow. So I'll leave you with this question. In your own projects, are you merely building a shiny technical toy, or are you truly engineering a business workflow? Think about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.